Greetings, my young Padawans. Eric UK here. With it's been nearly 2 weeks since I did another games I have played. So I'm going to wrap up the World of Darkness games with the last one, which I think was the last one of the old World of Darkness, which was Demon the Fallen. I never got to run this particular one. I only played it online a few times, and I really liked this one as a concept. I think it was actually very well done. It used the same old World of Darkness system, as we've spoken of in the last few games. The concept behind this one was that due to meta events in the run-up to the end of the world, specifically I think two incidents. One was the spirit bomb that destroyed the Ravnos Antediluvian in Vampire the Masquerade, and the other was the detonation of the Wraith relic of the, I think it was the little boy bomb in the spirit world. Basically cracked the gates of hell, and in this I think it was quite clever how that was portrayed. As I recall, you had the usual war in heaven. Lucifer and his followers would not accept God's judgment on mankind being better than angels, so they rebelled. They lost the war, and in punishment they were disembodied and cast into hell, which is basically, from the description, was a large black box with nothing in it but your essences. And that's where they were to be imprisoned for eternity. However, it didn't take them long to realise that Lucifer himself wasn't in the box. When these big detonations went off, cracks appeared in the gates of hell, and you were able to escape into the mortal realm, and you had to possess a body or be violently ripped back into hell. I can't remember whether the concept was that the cracks in hell healed back up again after the bomb, or whether or not, but essentially you escape and you have to possess the body of somebody who is in a spiritual crisis. So I think like suggestions were things like drug addicts, or people suffering depression, or suicide attempters. I'm not sure that's the right word. It took a very dark turn for this particular game, and so basically you were possessing someone spiritually drained or bankrupt, or however you want to term it, and so you could walk the earth again, and you could sort of channel your abilities through this body. Again, like all the others, you had some sort of I can't remember what they were called in Demon, but clans, tribes, whatever. You had one of those, and so you could be things like tormentors, or seducers, or what have you. The sort of classic demon archetypes. So the backstory for the game was really, really quite interesting from my point of view. My sort of issue was the gameplay. I say I only played it online a couple of times, and I never really got into it too much, simply because I think with games like Vampire and Werewolf and what have you, you have this structured society where demons don't have that. In the game, they sort of gathered under the ranks of certain powerful demons who had escaped previously. The big bads like Belial or Asmodeus or whoever. And you also had demons who had been summoned forth from hell in centuries past and basically stuck into items, the old cursed item trick. But this sort of like drove them mad. And so when they did sort of manifest, they were opponents as well as fellow demons. I can't even remember what the scenario or stories that we were telling in these two sessions were. I just remember it was set in Los Angeles and San Diego and along there. but there wasn't much to it. I think it was one of those games that had a great sort of concept, but didn't transfer particularly well into a game. I think in that respect, it very much resembled Oblivion and Changeling. But it was a really cool concept, and I always wanted to sort of run a game for it. Just never got round to it, which was a shame, really. In an odd sort of thing, and going slightly off book here, back when I first started role playing in the mid 80s, in my typical teen years, where I don't really understand the concepts of role playing games properly, and we were just sort of fucking about, pardon my language, I did actually come up with the idea of a game where you played demonic spirits. I had read the 3 books, the supposed story of the Amityville Horror. Utter bump, by the way, utter bump. And I tried to come up with this idea of a game that you played on a session sort of basis. You wouldn't play a whole campaign of it. The idea that the players were the spirits in the house, and you had to try and drive the the new residents out, sort of thing. Obviously, never got far with it, and rightly so. But I did think about that at the time when Demon actually came out. It sort of brought those memories back. Random side journey there. Anyway, I haven't really got a lot to say about this. As I say, I only ever played it those 2 times, and I never actually got to run the game. But if you did, I'd be interested to hear about that below, and what your experiences were. Anyway, that wraps up the World of Darkness games. What have we been doing that for like 2 months now or something? I promise I will move on to something different next time. Anyway, thanks for watching. Take care, guys. Good gaming.